Making money as a poker player all hinges on one thing: the skill of your opponents. If your opponents are less skilled than you, you should, in theory, win in the long run. However, no matter how good you are, the reverse is also true. If you're the 6th best poker player in the world, but you're constantly playing against the top 5, you'll lose in the long run. This is why game selection is so important. I try to find situations where I am the best poker player at the table. But that's not the situation I find myself in today. Let's meet my opponents. Some people learn poker by reading books. Maria literally wrote the book. Next to her we have Chad, a bracelet winner from the World Series of Poker, and media manager of Poker News. Then we have me. Hello, I'm Brantzen, poker player, content creator, your host for the evening. To my left is Johnny, longtime professional poker player and one of the first poker vloggers to enter the scene. On a sharp contrast, we have Corey, a much newer poker content creator, but in my opinion, will be the biggest by the end of this year. And finally, we have Mike, 2021 and 2023 WSOP Online Player of the Year. Out of the thousands and thousands of people playing online poker, he was deemed the best. Twice. So where does my skill stack up? Let's find out. We're playing a special match today. We all bought in for $2,500, no rebuys, no re-entries, and are playing exactly 90 hands. 30 hands of 5-10, 30 hands of 10-20, and 30 hands of 25-50. The last rule is that 500 of our dollars have been set aside in a separate prize pool, reserved for whoever wins the most at the end of the day. Let the best man win. One of the first hands I get is 8-9 of spades in the cutoff. Maria opens to $25 from under the gun. We're only playing 6-handed, so her range is gonna be a lot wider than a typical under the gun range. I go for the aggressive play and 3-bet to $75. Maria makes the call. We're heads up to a flop of Jack-6 deuce rainbow. I don't love it, but as the 3-better, I'm gonna continue telling the story. I have a strong hand. I bet $60 and Maria makes the call. There aren't really any draws on this board, so I mainly put her on any pocket pair or a jack. The turn is a 10, interesting because it gives me an open-ended straight draw. When Maria checks again, it's time to up the pressure. I bet $175. This should fold out any random pocket pair. Unfortunately, you guys can see Maria has ace-jack, so she's not going anywhere with top pair, top kicker. She makes the call. I'm praying for a 7 or a queen, but the river is another 10. I'm done with this hand. Maria obviously has a strong jack. She checks, I snap check back, just accepting defeat. Next one, I have ace-queen in the small blind. Action folds to me, I raise to $35, and Johnny defends his big blind. Heads up to a flop of 3-4-6, 2 diamonds. These low cards are going to be much better for Johnny's range since I will not be raising with a lot of low cards, so I check and Johnny bets $40. I could fold right now, but Johnny might also be making a move since this board is much better for him. I also have the queen of diamonds, making it possible to hit a flush later on, so I call, and the turn is the 10 of diamonds. I make the standard move and check again. This time Johnny slows down and checks. I think he'd keep barreling with 2 pairs, sets, flushes, so I put him on a 1-pair holding with showdown value mostly. I'm looking for a diamond, an ace, or a queen. The river is a queen. Much help to me. Now I'm beating any single pair, which is what I thought he had. If I check, I think he'll check back. So I go for a little value, $75, and he makes the correct laydown, folding his pair of 6s. Moving on, I have king jack in the hijack. I open to $30. Johnny calls from the cutoff. Maria defends from the big blind, and we're 3 ways to a flop of king 4-3 rainbow. I'm definitely happy to flop top pair. I bet around a third of the pot, $35. Johnny folds, but Maria raises to $110. Immediately, I don't like this. Because it's a rainbow board, there's not many draws out there, meaning she's gonna have a lot more value hands, like 2 pairs, sets. I do have top pair though. I have position. I don't want to fold just yet. She could have a couple of draws, mainly 5-6 for an open-ended. All right, I call and the turn comes a 7. Well, now the main draw got there. I still lose to all her value raises from before, and she continues betting for a chunky size of $225. I don't know what I beat. You know what I beat? Her hand, ace-5. Gut shot turned double gutter, but I didn't know that, so I fold. Okay, then we get a nice softball when I open jack-10. Maria calls. Flop comes out. I c-bet. She folds. Confidence builder! I pick up 5-7 of clubs in the small blind. Corey raises to $25 from under the gun, and with my newfound run good, I make the call. Heads up to a flop of king, queen, 8. All clubs, run good, let's go! I flop the flush. My only wish is that the blinds were bigger, but no complaints here. I check it over to Corey, and he bets $25. I'm out of position. There's no point in slow playing. I raise to $75. Please, have something. Have ace king, have 2 pair, have a set, have the ace of clubs, something. He makes the call. Let's go. Off to a turn. I'm thinking no club, no club, no club. Boom, it's a brick. Now, he called my raise, so he's got to have something decent. I'm sizing up. I bet $175, over 80% of the pot. Thinks about it, and then makes the call again. All right, clean river, clean river. That's as clean as it gets. No club, no paired board. Now, to think about sizing, if I bet too big, he's just going to fold all worse hands. So I go a little over half pot. I bet $325. Unfortunately, he still folds. Later, I found out he had pocket aces with the ace of clubs, so props to him for making the fold. Well, that's what I'm talking about, because if I was playing against a much worse player, they would most likely just get attached to their pocket aces, would have called off on the river, or have re-raised me earlier and just gotten it in bad. So when you're playing with stronger opponents, you lose out on some value. All right, last hand of 5-10 before we move up in blinds. I pick up Jack 10 in the small blind. Corey opens to $25 under the gun. Theoretically, it's just a fold, but I'm on stream. It's a small raise. I make the call. Johnny calls too. And we're 3 ways to a flop of Jack 9-4 rainbow. Action checks to Corey. He bets $30. I have top pair. I call. Johnny folds. And we're off to a turn, which comes a 5. Good. It's a brick. It doesn't change anything. I check to Corey again. This time he bets $175, well over the size of the pot. In my experience, overbets, not so balanced with most people. If he does have a draw, it's probably only combo draws like Queen 10 of spades, 8 10 of spades, but I feel like he's weighted heavily towards value. A lot of sets, overpairs maybe. I just fold, and he has a set. Great. Second part of the night, blinds increase to 10-20. I'm down around $300, but if I can make strides as the stakes go up, I could win this thing and take down the extra $3,500. I pick up Jack 8 of spades on the big blind. Maria opens to $50 on the button. Everyone with their classic 2.5x GTO opens. Anyway, Chad makes the call in the small blind. I call, and we're 3 ways to a flop of 9-10 ace. All right, I have the open ender. Action checks to Maria. She decides to check back, and we're off to a turn. Come on, 7 or queen. There it is. Gin. I have the nuts. Chad decides to bet. He bets $75, half pot. And I have a decision to make. Do I raise or do I just call? Well, if I raise, I'm getting more money in the pot with the best hand. That's always good. But Chad might fold and I could miss out on some value. Still, very solid option. The other path is to just call. This could invite Maria in to call or even raise herself. And the nice thing is I'm in position of Chad, so if he has a decent hand and bets the river, I can still raise him there. I opt for path 2, I just call. Maria has nothing, so she folds, and the river is a king. Chad continues betting, $125. Jack Queen now beats me, but I think this is still a mandatory raise. I make it $375. Chad doesn't look thrilled. But he still makes the call with ace 9 for 2 pair, and I take down a nice chunk. All right, so I'm climbing the leaderboards. Corey's in first, but I'm in second. Let's go. Come on. Come on. I pick up ace king of spades in the hijack, open to $60. Johnny calls from the cutoff. Maria defends the big blind, and we're 3 ways to a flop of king 3-8. All right, top pair, top kicker. I'm starting off with a C bet of $65, and Johnny makes the call. The turn, king. Now I have trips, though it really doesn't change that much. If I was ahead, which I think I am, then I'd still be ahead. If I was somehow behind, I'm still behind because he's not going to have 8-3, so now what to do? I think betting is my best option, charging flush draws, weaker kings, possibly some non-believing pocket pairs. I bet $200, and Johnny makes the call again. Off to a river, which comes a 10. Johnny's giving me the death stare. I don't love the 10, since King 10 is one of the main hands I wanted to get value from, but I'm still betting, targeting King Queen or King Jack mainly. I bet $500. Johnny does have King Jack, makes a pretty quick call, and I take down a nice pot. We're down to 5 people now. Chad got felted, and it's a reminder there are no rebuys. Once you lose your chips, that's it. Maria opens to $50 from under the gun. I look down at Ace King. Standard 3-bet, I make it $150. Maria calls, and we're heads up to a flop of Queen 3-5 Rainbow. Maria checks. I start off with a C-bet of $150. This is honestly way too big. I should be betting smaller, around $110, but here we are. I just want to take it down. Unfortunately, Maria makes the call. The turn is a 7. She checks. I think I'm just shutting down. I check back, hoping for an ace or a king on the river. 10. Maria bets. I doubt ace high is ever good here. I fold. To be honest, I don't know if she was going for value or if she was turning her 7 into a bluff or a block bet, but either way, nice hand, you win.
Smile, though your heart is aching.
I pick up ace 9 in the big blind. Corey opens to $50 from the cutoff. Mike calls, I call, and we're 3 ways to a flop of ace king 8 rainbow. Corey goes for a c-bet of $75. Mike folds. I have top pair, not going anywhere. I call, and the turn is a queen. I check it over to Corey, hoping he checks it back. But no, he bets again, this time $225. The pressure is on. I'm not sure what to do. Top pair doesn't feel too great on this board. However, I have been folding a lot, and I know Corey's paying attention. He might feel like he can bully me on this board since it heavily favors him as the pre-flop raiser. He's gonna have all the sets and 2 pairs. All right, I'm using the one time I'm sticking around. I put in the call, and the river is another king. All things considered, it's not the worst river. I'm chopping with any ace that's not ace king now. I check. Come on, buddy, just check back. Check back. No. He bets big. $1,000. Am I just getting pushed around? If I call and Corey is bluffing, I'll have the most chips on the entire table, in great position to win that extra $3,500. But if he's not bluffing, I'll be in a terrible spot. So how likely is it that Corey is bluffing? I don't think very likely. I fold. Later, I found out Corey had 10 jack. He hit a gut shot on the turn, and I would have lost. It's the final level. This is where we decide who wins and who loses. I'm currently in second place, but it's a close race. Mike raises to $125 from the button, and I look down at ace king of hearts. I re-raise to $425. It's one of the best hands in poker. Come on, Mike, make the call. But he makes a pretty quick fold, and I take it down. A couple orbits go by, and I'm card dead. Mike's in first place. Corey's in second. I'm in third. I have to pick up cards or make moves or something to have a chance to win this thing. Corey opens to $125 from the cutoff. Maria calls from the small blind, and I pick up ace jack. This is it, guys. This could be the hand that catapults me to first place. I 3-bet to $500. Unfortunately, everyone folds, and we're on to the next one. 9-10 suited in the cutoff. Come on, I'm catching up. I'm in second now. I open to $125. Johnny makes the call from the button, but then Mike wakes up with ace king in the big blind, and he goes all in for over $3,000. Calling with 10 high, not recommended. But if I win this hand, I pretty much secure my victory and an extra $3,500. I can't do it. I fold. Johnny folds, and Mike wins. All right, it's the final hand of the night. Maria doubled up through Corey, so her and Mike are the chip leaders. I'm sitting in third, and I pick up Jack 10 offsuit in the hijack. I raise to $125. I have no chance. The only way for me to possibly win is by getting involved now. And then Corey goes all in on the button. folds back to me. I ask for a count. He has $665. I then count my chips, $2,645. Plus the blinds, if I win this hand, I'll have $3,385. Is that enough to win? Do I make this call with Jack 10 offsuit? No. Mike has a little over $3,500. I can't win. I fold, and that's the game. I ended the night with 25-20, in for 2,000, out for 25-20. But with the $500 side bet, that was a profit of $20. Mike ended up winning the challenge, so congrats to him. And by the way, as far as monthly totals, I know I haven't updated in a while, haven't posted a video. I've been pretty busy with family stuff, and also the last 2 months were pretty horrible poker-wise. So here are the results, and hopefully it picks up. And now from here, I'm gonna be trying to post more regular videos. So look out for those, and I'll see you in the next one.